is Monte Haines, and my current name is Han Ho-Kyu. Um, I arrived in the United States on November 16th, 1978. Through Holt Adoption Agency. I lived in the United States for 31 years. I served in the United States Army military for 3.5 years. This is like, I was adopted July 15th, 1981, and got sent back on November 4th, deported back on November 4th, 2009.
Monte, how long have you been living in Korea at this point?
12 years.
Okay. And where are you physically right now?
I'm in by Hongdae.
Okay.
It's still in Seoul.
Mm-hmm. Do you live in an apartment? Do you live in a
It's like a
custom
studio.
Okay. Okay.
And it's like expensive.
Are there any other adoptees or expats, or who is in your community there?
Last time we checked, or they checked, it's just like 200 in Korea. Some are Korean Americans, but some are deportees. There are a lot of deportees here.
I was wondering if you could just catch me up, catch the people who are listening. Could you share with us a little bit of your adoption story and what led to your deportation?
Well, I was snatched from the street.
Okay.
When I was playing outside. Then I was taken to baby's home. I was there like almost a year until I was sent to US. That was in November 16th, 1978, when I went to the US. I went through Honolulu, Hawaii, from Hawaii to Iowa. And it's like, it was a lot different.
Yeah.
I never seen a cornfield. I never seen a cow, stuff like that. And it was like total shock. I don't remember how I got there. Then I went to I went to the foster family. I stayed there for about 6 months before I went to my first family.
Okay.
When I arrived at the first family, they're like Christian kind of. They had their 2 children. It was going okay, but within a month, I don't know what happened, but I end up in a closet, locked up, only fed with bread and water. If I'm lucky to have that. Sometimes I gone days without food. When they enrolled me in school, so I went to school. Then at school, then I didn't even know nobody there. It's like I'm just like stranger in strange country. I was by myself there all the time, sitting alone. So when I come home, the same thing, do chores, then do my homework. Then after homework, they would lock me in the closet. This has been going on for a year. And sometimes if I don't do exactly what they wanted, they would whip me with a tree branch, or they would chain me to a pole naked with no clothes on and have their dog nip at me, growl at me.
That sounds terrifying.
This was going on. It's like even small little things, if I make a mistake, I get punished.
Right.
Being locked up in a closet with no light, nothing. It's like the physical abuse thing was going on like a year, getting hit with branch, with belt, anything they can grab, even with dog chain. Next day I went to school. So when the teacher grabbed me in the back, I jumped, and teacher asked me to lift my shirt up, why I'm jumping. It's like, oh no, I'm just jumping. He says, no, there's something's wrong. So teacher lifted my shirt up. The teacher saw black and blue mark all over my back.
Yeah.
Like some parts were like a bleeding where I was hit by hit with a branch. That day, the teacher, I guess, called somebody up. They got me, picked me up from school, took me to my home. From my home, they escorted me out of the house and took me to the hospital. And then after the hospital, they took me back to the foster family. Then I was there for another 6 or 8 months. From there, I went to the second family. I get along real well with them. They want to adopt me, but they couldn't. They had like 6 kids. And plus, they had a son named Monte, so they couldn't legally adopt me. So I was staying there for like five months. Then I went back to foster family. I was there for I don't know how long. I was like getting isolated from anybody there. Like I would be locked up in a room by myself with no contact with no other kids. Then after a while, I left the foster family, went to my third family. There, I lived with them for a while. On July 15th, 1981, I went to county court to be adopted. So I was adopted on that day, and I went to school like normal kids do, played outside, and I thought this was gonna be good than my first family, but boy, was I wrong. After a while, when I was coming home from school, I had to mow the yard, do some chores. So I was doing that. Then all of a sudden, my adoptive father comes, hits me with the belt on my back, on my legs, and it tells me to hurry up, finish. It's like, it was like big backyard.
How old were you at that time?
I was like, I really don't know, like 10, 11.
Mhm.
So I really don't know. From my third family, I was getting abused sexually, mentally, physically. It's to a point that my self-esteem went down, my anxiety went down, my depression went down, went up.
Mm.
Like I isolate myself from anybody coming toward me.
Yeah.
Um, then it's like this been going on. This is what's going on like every day. Either I'm getting beat up by my father, or he would make me like go outside, work in the night with no just shorts and t-shirt on, do yard work at night. It's like, it's hard,
Yeah.
but if I don't do it, I'm gonna get beat up. so I was coping this, isolating myself, talking to nobody, not even in school. Um, then other times when I come home, he would like, my family owned a restaurant. When I went there after school to help out, my dad would a couple times would slam my head against the concrete wall.
Mm.
It's to a point that where I passed out and was rushed to the hospital, and the doctor said I had a concussion, bad concussion, that anything that hits my head would kill me instantly, because that's how bad my dad would slam my head against the wall.
Yeah.
Um, for after that, my mom knew what was going on, but she was too afraid to do anything. My adoptive brother also was being abused. He kicked him out when he was 16, when I was in school. He lived with his friends for a while, so I didn't know where he went. It's to a point, he got so bad at the house that I ran away. I went, I still went to school, but I ended up sleeping like on the streets, like bus stop,
Mm.
anywhere to get away from my father.
Yeah.
Um, so it's like, to me, it's like, if this how they can treat the kids from different country, once they're adopted, then why are they adopting if they can't take care of their child?
Yeah.
It's like, I ended up, I don't know where, and later on, my parents got divorced, and I had to choose who to live with. So I went with my father, moved to Colorado. Uh, that was one mistake I made. I shouldn't have done that. He he got he got worse with the abuse, sexually, mentally. It's like telling me that, I was lucky to come over here, this and that. It's like, I was a teenager by then. I was like, I couldn't I couldn't handle it no more. It's like, I left the house, never I was gone for like 2 weeks. Then when he's not there, I come back, take a shower. When I was in school, the police officer came, picked me up, um, took me to the police station, told me what happened. My father got arrested for abuse and was in jail for overnight. So they told me that I need to pack my stuff and go to a family member that I know. I was like, okay. I want to go back to my mom. Uh, at the time, my mom got remarried to another gentleman. When I was living with them, the abuse was going on again. I was like, oh, so I didn't get along with my stepfather. Um, I would leave the house for a while, not come back. When I was staying with my mom, I would skip school, hanging out with the wrong people,
Mm.
getting bad grades to a point my mom couldn't handle it. So she sent me to boarding home to get my grades up and to actually behave myself. Um, I was there, graduated. They went to Berkeley, and stupid of me enough, I dropped out of college, joined the military. That was one mistake I made that I regretted. If I'd known that I wasn't a US citizen, to me, I always thought I was US citizen growing up
Mm-hmm.
because I was adopted by the US citizen.
Right.
So if I'd known that I wasn't, I would have stayed in college, got my master's in IT, but stupid of me, joined the military. I was there for 3.5 years, got out, did odd jobs like security. Then during the military, I thought it would be, to me, I thought that would be a family,
Mm.
but I was wrong. I was getting bullied, discriminated at, because I was only Asian in the military at the time. If I'm getting treated like this in the military, it's like, why did I join? To defend the United States.
Monty, can I
Then,
ask you, when you served in the military, it isn't a requirement that you be a US citizen. Had you not questioned anything, right? You hadn't known,
why do I need to? Because I thought I was a US citizen.
right?
And they accepted me. And I was like, okay, I'm a US citizen. A lot of military personnel go to Mexico, whereas during the weekend. So I went. I had a friend of mine that was in the military. I guess the captain told him to keep eye on me. So we went there. I got so drunk. I never drink. I got so drunk. I don't remember where I was, how I got home, stuff like that. Next day, we were ordered to do a piss test. So I was still have a hangover. I don't remember anything. So I did a piss test. The very next day, found out that I came hot
Mm.
because to a point where like I almost blacked. I guess I blacked out. Don't even remember anything. How
And
could I be?
not necessarily for alcohol, but for drugs.
So I kept to myself. It's like, why is this happening? Why did I do wrong? I do everything to blend in,
Mm.
to be part of a country that I put my life on the line to protect the country and its people.
Mm.
And it's like, now this, it's like, when I found out, I was um got on top of on top of a building. I'm still like have a hangover. I don't know how got up there. I was standing at the edge of the building, looking down. It's like everything was around me was black. I finally got discharged, other than honorable.
Okay.
Um, that experience in the military was worse than the family I went to. Later on, I found a job doing trucking, hauling, going across the 50 state, across the United States, delivering goods, stuff like that. I was doing that for like 3 years. On February of 2001, I was leaving Laredo, Texas, going up north to deliver stuff. When I went to a checkpoint, I handed my manifest, serial number, everything where I was carrying. They told me that, asked me to step out. I was like, okay. So I shut the truck off. I got out and they asked me what I was carrying. I told them what I was carrying. marble flooring, chandeliers, this and that. And it's like, can we open up the trailer? I said, no, you cannot. You got to call my company up and ask them for permission. By the time they took me around the back, they already broke the seal. They were inside. And they told me that I was under arrest. I was like, why am I under arrest? He said, there's more. I was like, we found some weeds in there. I was like, so they arrested me, took me to the county. I was there for like 3 months. The ICE agent came and told me that I wasn't a US citizen. I was like, what are you talking about? I'm not US citizen. I was adopted by US citizen. I joined the military.
Mhm.
For military, you have to be US citizen to join. They said, yeah, but still you're not US citizen. And we never had this kind of case before. And I was like, I was arguing with them for a couple hours, like, no, I am US citizen because I was adopted by US citizen.
Mhm.
So this went on. I went to court. At the court, I had a public defender because I had no money for a lawyer. They found me guilty of that. And I was like, oh, where else? So they gave me like 4 years for federal pen. So from the county jail, I went to FCIC federal pen. I was there for like 2 years plus. I got credited for good behavior. From there, I went to immigration prison. There I stayed until I done my time. From there, I went to Haskell, Texas. That's the immigration detention center.
Mhm.
I was there for until Christmas Day, 2005. I was released on in-house. We're at the report in, trying to get my passport. Um, during time I was at Haskell, I was doing a video court. The immigration judge, Judge Rogers, told me that I do not belong in this country, that country, that is his country,
Mhm.
that he'll do anything to send me back. And I was like, what the hell is going on? Um, my family hired a immigration lawyer, a good one. He argues that 1981 law saying that if I was adopted by a US citizen, that makes me automatically a US citizen.
Right.
But judge said, no, they're going by 2000, year 2000 law. And I was like, oh my God, what's going on? I'm getting like screwed left and right in the
Mhm.
court, in the military, in my family. It's like, oh my gosh, when's this gonna stop? Um, that day I got released, I was supposed to go in, check in, telling them I'm trying to get passport. My sister-in-law and I went to Houston to Crane Consulate to get a passport. They told me that they don't know who I was. My name was not in the system, and that they could not give me a passport. And I told them, okay, then can you write that as a letter to immigration saying that you don't know who I am, my name's not a computer, and that they cannot give me a travel document. So later on, I went back. worked at my brother's construction company later on. While I was working, my mom called, told me that my brother committed suicide, shot himself at the park. And I was like, I was like shocked. I was like, there's no way. It could be my brother. It's like, what's going on? It's like, this can't be happening. So I went back to work. Everybody was down. Um, Later on, they changed me to being to make a call in to check in and stuff like that. Uh, they called me because I missed one. I told them that uh, my brother passed away. I won't be left alone. So just leave me alone. I'm not gonna check in. So I hung up. On I was working in construction with a friend of mine I met, working helping him out. October 31st, 2009, I was free for 5 years. October 31st, the ICE agent in full-out SWAT came to my work, pointed guns at me and told me to get on the ground. And they handcuffed me and took me back to the Haskell. And they asked me, did you threaten our ICE agent? I was like, huh? Where are you guys getting this from? I told them that my brother passed away and I was not checking it. So I told him, just leave me alone. From there, I don't know where they got it, saying that I threatened the ICE agent. But so they took me back to Haskell on November 4th, 2009. They got me out, took me to the airport, escorted me to the airport with 5 ICE agents, not handcuffed. So I got on the plane, came to Korea. I arrived like 5 in the morning with only $20 on me, with shorts and t-shirt, nothing else. It was wintertime.
Yeah.
And they just left me there at the airport. I was like, okay, where am I supposed to go? What am I supposed to do there? So I slept there for a couple of days. I didn't eat for a couple of days. I didn't speak their language. I'm in another country
Right.
that I don't even know nothing about.
Right.
So I got no help from nobody. And it's like I was on my own. I sometimes sleep in the phone booth, shivering. Other times I would go like to Han River underneath the bridge where there'll be a wind block. That
Right.
won't be that much cold. So at nights I would get some boxes I found, make like a little shelter. I would sleep there. I was eating food out of garbage can that people threw away for 2 weeks. Um, I have I stayed on the streets for like 2 weeks, sleeping underneath the bridge until finally found people that would help me out. The lady that I worked with the past at the church as a secretary, she helped me out find a place for a while. After that, I got she helped me get contact with Goal, private organization that helped me get my ID and get my life back. I went to the welfare system office because I need to get a stamp.
Yeah.
So I went there and I told them about my story. You could hear a pin drop because they didn't know that this was going on. So they gave me the stamp. I went back to the treatment center. There, they had to manually type in all my information to get a card, ID card. So I got my ID card. With that, I had no resume, nothing. So I start looking for a job. I got a job at a restaurant as a cook. So I did that. I left there, went to teach. From there, it's like going in circle.
Mhm.
Um, on that was going on for like 4 months, 4 years. On February 14th, 2012, I did an interview with SBS, told them my story and told them that this stuff needs to stop.
What was it that you wanted to, what was it that you wanted the Korean people to hear?
That what's going on, that they're snatching kids from the street, sending to the orphanage and selling them because Korean family parents don't know what's going on
Mhm.
because they don't, adoption agency doesn't tell the family. They tell them what the adoption agency want the parents to know, saying, yeah, your child will be in good care, this and that,
Mhm.
which is BS because they don't do background check on the family. I did an interview in 2012, and later on, I did another interview with KBS, U.S. newspaper, telling my story. I even met with the organization here in Korea, told them my story, and told them that this needs to stop because Korean government don't know what's going on with the adoptees that's being sent over there.
Mhm.
Um, I haven't told them there's going to be a lot more Korean adoptees being deported back to Korea, and I told them that you guys need to get ready for it
Mhm.
because once it does, it's going to hit hard. You guys not prepared. I have to find a housing with my work, and you guys didn't even help me out. You're with organization with adoptees, so that it's part of your job to help them out once they arrive, find them place to stay, and this and that. Uh, like around 2015, 14, 15, they started to help me. They gave me a housing um, with with subsidy, with counseling, stuff like that. Uh, it, no matter what I do or say, it's like I'm just outcast.
What kind of counseling were they providing you?
Uh, Therapy for my PTSD
Mhm.
from the military.
Mhm.
They helped me with that, with the housing, with food. It's there's so much that this organization, part of government can welfare system can do when the when Korean government blocks certain things.
What do you
It's
mean by
like
that?
they have to follow certain rules, I guess, uh, that for them to get the money for the adoptees, for the housing and stuff like that. And it's like, why are the government stop doing this? It's their fault that we're in this situation. yeah, I understand. After Korean War, for Korean government to grow, that's the only thing they could do. I understand that. Once the economic was stable, they should shut down the orphanages,
Mm,
but they didn't because they see as easy money.
mm. Do you think that the Korean government sees you as a Korean person?
No, they don't.
Mm. Do you see yourself as a Korean person?
Half of me say yes, half of me say no. To me, I'm half American because I was raised in the United States, and half I'm Korean because I was born here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's like I said, what am I supposed to do to stop that discrimination against me, uh, look down on me by my own people, by Korean government, and by foreign foreign owners of a restaurant? It's like I'm I didn't even want to go. I
Mm-hmm.
had no choice.
Yeah. No choice to
At that
come here,
time,
no choice to go to America, no choice to come back to Korea.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
at the time, ad- adoptees sending kids off to different countries was easy money.
Mm.
It's to a point that Korean government and adoption agency got used to it, making so much money that they can't stop. Now it's too late. Now they're struggling to figure out what they need to do.
Mm.
Simple is to shut down all the adoption agency, shut down all the orphanages, and stop brainwashing the single mothers to give
Mm.
up their child. Help them take care of the child.
During your time, have you tried to find your birth family? Is that something that was possible for
Um,
you?
I did find my birth family on
Mm.
November 29th. They, I guess my family asked Hope, why am I looking for them? It's for financial help. I was like, no, I just want to meet them. So I met them, find out that my mom didn't know where I was. Hope never told her that I was adopted, sent to the US. For 10 years, she was looking for me,
Mm.
and they never told her the truth. I had contact with them a couple of times with my mom. Then after that, I fell apart. It's like I haven't contacted her because of my language. And I just want to go back to my normal life, trying to fit in. And it's like, no matter what I do, how I do it, I'm still being isolated from my own country, from my own people. It's like, what do I need to do
Mhm.
to fit in?
Mhm.
I'm same race as them, have the same blood as them, red. Just because I was raised in the US for 31 years, it's like, I don't know what I need to do for them to accept me into the Korean society. And it's like, to a point, it's like, I really don't know. It's a struggle. Every day it's a struggle for me.
Mm-hmm.
finding food, rent, um, my bills. It's to a point. It's like I I I paid off $18,000 hospital bill that took me 5 years to do. It's like since I've been here, I've been struggling left and right,
Yeah.
and Korean government stuff like that are helping me a little bit, but not to a point where they should be. Um, also, I had some people come up to me when I was outside, telling me that they're sorry. I was like, huh? Why are you sorry for me? You don't even know me. I guess they saw the movie uh, Blue Bayou here in Korea.
I see.
So I was like, okay, you don't have to say sorry because it's not your fault. But
But can you
I do
help me?
appreciate it. Yeah, it's like I do
Yeah.
appreciate it, but it's not your fault. It's government's fault.
Mm-hmm.
So we talked a while, then we parted ways, and it's like five people came up to me, and it's like, what's going on? So I found out, yeah, they watched the Blue Bayou. Director John Chung contacted me through email and asked me for my story and asked me if he could use my story, my picture, my name in the movie. And I said, yeah, because that would help out for people worldwide to know what's going on, that they need to change this stuff.
And that you exist.
That we, as deported adoptees, do exist.
Yeah.
That this is going on every day.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I like the movie. That's what I went through.
Mm-hmm.
That's what other adoptees that are on limbo are going to go through. That they need to prepare. July 20th, I went back to the US. I was working for a crane company to uh, haul like car parts, like escort car parts to El Paso. So I went to Dallas Fort Worth. Uh, I filled out EST, a visa waiver, and I was filling it out like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. I was half asleep when I was doing it. Stupid of me. Um, I went to Dallas Fort Worth. They did a fingerprint. Of course, my fingerprint's gonna be in the system.
Mm-hmm.
So they took me to the back office, and the office border patrol security officer was nice, and they told me that you filled out the paperwork out wrong. I was like, I was filling it out like 2 in the morning, and I do apologize. So he went further into my background. He was talking to other to headquarters saying that about should he let me accept me into US because I only stayed there for 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
I have a return flight back. So they were talking. He went to deeper into my background and into the system. He told me that I should have never been deported
Mm-hmm.
because the first family I went to, I should have been a U.S. citizen. Since I moved around, it got my paperwork got backed up and it got lost in the system.
Mm.
So they couldn't keep up. So he told me, yeah, you should have never been deported at all.
Is there a
So
statute of limitations on your deportation?
I'm banned for life just because of the 4-year sentence. If it was less than 4 years, I would have got 10 or 15-year ban. But
So the
since I did
4-year mark.
4-year mark, I was banned for life, which it shouldn't be right. But the immigration judge I had, he's the one that said it.
Yeah.
Instead of helping me out, I said, yeah, I understand you made a mistake, this and that. I would give you 15 or 20 years or 10 or 15 years banned. If he would have done that, I would be happy, but he didn't.
Mm-hmm.
He told them that he's banning me from his country and his land.
How do you think that we, as the adoptees who are watching and bearing witness to your story and to others, how can we support you?
There's two things.
Mm-hmm.
As an adopted community, instead of fighting with each other, they need to get together and figure out what they can do. They need to press the Congress to help quickly expedite the Citizenship Act. This has been going on for what, 10 years?
Yeah.
And nothing has happened.
Mm-hmm.
This is still in the vote. It should not take that long.
And as you've been following that, Monty, just to clarify, I'm assuming that you're talking about a clean bill where it would be not just retroactive citizenship, but also including people like you for whom your citizenship would make a difference as to how you would get a visa to come back to the US.
Yeah, to me, it doesn't matter to me.
Mm.
I made a mistake and I got faced that. What I'm worried about is other adoptees that are limbo, that are facing this situation. If this bill does not pass, I want them to understand that they're not the only one that this happened to, that they are not alone.
Mm.
Um, I want the other country government to realize, hey, we need to stop this. We're hurting our own people.
Mm-hmm.
That's not right. We need to help them out. Same as in US government. They need to stop and think, what could they do to help? If you don't, what was going to happen? The bill's been in the Congress for I don't know how long.
Right.
Certain bills, it doesn't take that long to pass, to get vote. Why is that Citizenship Act bill is taking so long to pass?
Well, I hope in some small measure, this hour is something that will be viewed by people who are actively engaged in the process of trying to get that legislation passed. And I hope that in some small measure, you being able to sit with me and share your story from the beginning till now gives you some measure of feeling that you are not alone as well.
As a adopted community, we need to come together, help each other out best they can. Like, there's a lot of people in adopted community that helped me out a lot. Excuse me, and they're still helping me out. There, one adoptee did fundraising for me on Facebook to help me out with my bills, my therapy, my rent, and stuff like that. It shouldn't be just few people. It should be all adoptees coming together as one to help out deported adoptees and adoptees that's in limbo.
Yeah.
And start fighting amongst each other
Right.
and fighting about the boycott of Blue Bayou.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, that's like a slap on my face.
I think that
He's
one of the
he's
reasons why this project is so important is to not only just share more stories, but also to diversify the story. Who are you in
it's not.
community with, Monty? You said earlier on that there are about 200 people in
They're
Korea.
like they're like spread out all
Okay.
over Korea, and
Mhm.
I lost contact with some of them.
How do
And
you fill your days, Monty? It seems like you have a lot of information, and these 12 years have been a continuous learning process and trying to figure out how to break out of the isolation that you have
it
continuously
is
been in.
it's difficult.
Mm.
The Korean people mindset is like it's hard for them to change. Right now, with my age, it's hard to find a job. Only job is working a factory. I've done that before.
Mhm.
I've seen people get hurt, get their fingers chopped off, or die.
Mm.
And I'm not going to do that. It's like, to get any help, I got jump through hoops and loops. Before, it was easy. Now it's getting harder and harder
Mhm. Mhm.
to even get help from Korean government.
Mhm.
After what went, after what happened, they, to me, it seems like they don't trust me at all. It's like they're thinking I might do something, same thing that happened before.
Mhm.
To me, it's not about money. It's about having the Korean government be confronted and face the fact what they did back then was wrong. That
What
they
does that
need
look
to,
like for you then in that act of contrition? What does that look like for you? How would you see your time now and future forward be different if that acknowledgement could happen?
oh, that would help a lot of adoptees.
Mm.
It would help a lot of adoptees. And plus, deportees are here. It would help them a lot
Mhm.
until the Korean government and US government realize what they did and change it. It would help out a lot.
Mm.
For them to realize it, it's gonna it's gonna take time. And it's like, with the Korean government and its people, they have their mindset back in 1970.
Mhm.
They cannot change that. They're afraid to change. We're
Mm.
already in 21st century already. Things are changing. The change I need to do is stop all the adoption. Keep the kids in Korea.
Mhm.
The ones that are in the United States, help them make sure that they get a US citizenship
Mhm.
once they're adopted.
Mhm.
And the US government needs to do that. They're the one that accepted us.
Right.
yet they can't help us out.